and welcome back to the Who's Judging podcast. I'm Danny.
I'm Connor.
Today we're going to be talking about our dream vegan world.
This is going to be fun.
And I'm going to be munching on some chips here. Sorry.
What chips are those?
They're the Vegan Rob's Dragon Puffs.
Vegan Rob's. There we go.
You want to start us off?
All right. So for you, what would your dream vegan utopia look like? Give us like an initial breakdown.
You said that, and I just imagined this like beautiful place full of nature, trees, and animals everywhere roaming around. And I don't know, just colorful and beautiful.
I think the same. Just a lot of greenery, a lot of land, and just a lot of animals just free to do their own thing.
Yeah.
So for you, would you live in the city or somewhere out, like a countryside type thing in your world?
Country. I would live in the country, have my own, like plant my own food, live off the land, and have lots of animals.
Okay. So for this world, do you think it's possible, like in your lifetime, for us to get there? No?
No. I don't want to be negative, but
right.
Let's be real.
They're big changes and not that much
That
time
is such
overall.
a big, yeah. Do you think there might be a chance?
I think we could get close. I don't think we'll get there, though.
How close?
Maybe like 65% of the way there. I think it's possible.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'll probably live to like 110, you know?
Oh, of course, because you're vegan.
Yeah, I'll do. I'm pretty sure like the oldest woman that just died recently, she just drank wine every day. That was her secret. So that's what I'll have to start doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
What would it look like for you?
I think pretty close to yours. Like a lot of open land, just animals doing their thing.
So you'd also pick the country?
Yeah, for sure. I think that'd be fun. Like when I visited my aunt, she lives out there kind of in the middle of nowhere, kind of between Maryland and Pennsylvania. And she has so much land. Like I stayed with her for a weekend and there's just like deer coming up in her backyard and they grow a bunch of veggies and everything. It was like I had Cheerios for breakfast and they just had like fresh blueberries to put in. Nice. So I feel like that would be a cool place to live.
The life.
Yeah.
Are all vegans like that? I mean, I do like the city. I used to not like the city and I like the city now. However, I can't imagine growing my own food there, although people are getting good at it.
Right. I think my vegan world still has a city. Like it's got to have I still want to do my things, you know, go to the bar, hang with friends. But like where I'm living is not in the city.
Okay. I see
That's
that.
how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So what do you think you'd be doing job-wise in your dream world if you had to have a job still?
I would have a dog rescue. And obviously it wouldn't be for profit, you know?
Right.
But it'd just be enough to be able to rescue dogs. And if I'm living off my land, I probably wouldn't need much, but enough to cover whatever living expenses I need.
Right.
And then everything is saving dogs, I think.
There you go.
And probably other animals too.
Yeah,
although that's a little scary because I don't know how to care for any other animal than besides a dog. But
you just got to put together a team.
Yeah.
That's how I would do, I think. Start up a sanctuary.
Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be so nice.
Yeah. If it's all open land, I think that would be easy.
Yeah.
Get yourself some of the land and start one up. So outside of your animal rescue, how many pets would you have?
I wouldn't even be able to. Yeah, I'd go crazy.
Have like 25 dogs.
Yeah, like all the dogs, all the animals, all the cows and pigs and everything. Like I don't even think there's a limit for me, honestly. What about you?
I don't know how far I'd go, but I'm definitely gonna have at least a cow and a pig because I feel like they're just insane. Pigs will be fun, although they'll just get all dirty. I want one of those like dream scenarios where I have like the Instagram pig, you know, the Instagram where it's the little tiny pig that like hangs out in the house.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's realistic. So
why not?
Because they're gonna grow up and they're gonna want to roll around outside.
Yeah.
You gotta let them live like.
Of course. Still. Yeah.
And then the cows just look like big dogs to me. They're like really big dogs.
They're huge, yeah.
But like they'll literally like run around and they just act like a dog when they have you know, they're free. So that's what I would do.
One pig, one cow.
At least one pig, one cow, and obviously a dog. But
do you have a max? Like you wouldn't have a lot like me.
I don't think so. I think you're more into like taking care of the dogs. like your own,
Yeah.
like you have right now. And so I'd have to
I'm more
scale
into
up.
like I just connect with animals.
Right.
Like that. Like,
Right. But I mean, like you're used to like taking care of them.
oh
Like at
yeah.
this point, I don't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I'd have to like scale up. Like start with 2 pets. Maybe we hit like 8. 8 would be kind of crazy though. So
Yeah. I think I could handle it.
well, because see, if I have a sanctuary, then I kind of have a bunch of pets I still have to take care of. They're just not my pets.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
but yeah, in terms of at my house, probably 8 max.
Yeah. How do you think like industries would adapt to this vegan world?
Well, I think we're starting with that, at least with food. They're kind of starting to see that there's a shift, and so they're kind of doing it. And I'm hoping it just cannibalizes itself. It's like for Tyson, they have their own like fake meat. Fake, I hate that word, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like vegan meat brand, and they have their obviously chicken brand, their normal one. And so I'm hoping it just cannibalizes it.
Yeah,
Like
I think there's still
Tyson's,
like a lot of reluctance though because there are so many like chain restaurants that I'm like, why don't you have a vegan option? Like it's so
right.
easy for you to have a vegan option.
I think what it comes down to is actually more of us than them. Like it comes down to demand. If people want,
There's a demand.
right, but maybe there's not a demand at that restaurant enough to.
In and out. You're gonna tell me there's not a demand at In and Out.
I don't know.
Yeah, there
There'd be
is.
enough.
If Carl's Jr., Burger King,
But there has to be enough demand to replace the other items. So if they put it on there, it creates more expenses. So they'd have to cut it somewhere.
I'm convinced there's a demand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying though, is as demand continues to climb though, eventually they're gonna fold. So the more demand that comes,
they have to, yeah.
But in terms of like the Tysons, if I'm hoping that their like vegan brand starts cannibalizing their actual chicken brand. So right now it probably makes up like 1-2% of their sales, but maybe in like 5 years it's like 10%, 15% of their sales. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Because you need the big players to get involved at this point. Or
Yeah,
it's not.
for sure.
Because I think that's one of the big reasons like Beyond hasn't made it to McDonald's, even though they have a contract with them. Like if you go to the UK, there's
the UK has had vegan.
Yeah, because that's where
for years.
Yeah, McDonald's decided to trial it there, so they have a McPlant with the Beyond Burger on the menu. I'll
report back because I'm gonna be visiting.
Okay.
Next month, so I'm so excited to try vegan McDonald's.
But so see, there's only 2 ways it could be. Either McDonald's doesn't see it as demand high enough to supply it to all of theirs.
Yeah.
Or Beyond at this point can't produce enough for all of the US stores.
Yeah.
And so we need the big players to produce to get that, I think.
For sure.
Okay. So how do you envision the education and awareness of veganism and animal rights in your dream world? Like how are we gonna spread the message and educate people on it?
Schools. Okay. Like I don't know why we don't educate children on where food comes from.
Right.
Like that's super important. Isn't it so interesting that we don't talk about it? But again, we don't talk about so many things that are real and messed up in this world, but that's like a big thing. Like children are not taught like yeah, they're told like, beef, you're eating a cow or a chicken, but like indirectly they're being told, but they're not being taught like the production of what they're eating and all that. So I think bringing it to schools would be the best way.
Yeah. So you think like a class or like a few classes they have to take throughout the year?
A subject, like even not even like a class. Like I'm talking like basics on life. Like today we're gonna one day. Like today we're gonna talk about this. Like where does our food come from? Literally. Okay. Like, and I'm talking like elementary school.
So we're throwing that in science class or something.
Yeah, like
a chapter.
Yeah, like a chapter. And
work.
Yeah, and then obviously as kids grow up, they can get more into it, right? It could be a class, like a whole class in college, or like an elective in high school. Like it can be.
Makes sense. I think the reason they don't is because I don't know very many people that would eat meat if they knew how it was produced. Of
course. If you think about it, it'd probably be like, oh my gosh, how are we going to teach kids like all the horrible things that happen?
That's the other thing. How do you teach third graders that effectively? You can't just show them the slaughter.
No. But you can tell them that happens because that is what happens.
They should just sell it. Okay, look at this cute cow, and then look at this burger, and just put the horror in their brain forever.
Okay, no,
I think that could work.
I'm not for that. I'm not saying like scare them, put this like horrible vision. No.
It could be like a project, like they give them each like a farm animal and they have to name them, and then throughout the year you have to give them an
No.
attribute, and then you have to say,
It's a
do
little
we? And then at the end
manipulative.
of the year you say, do you want to save little Billy or do you want little Billy to become a burger?
No.
And everyone's gonna go, we gotta save little Billy.
I'm more
And
for
then the message is there.
I'm more for an unbiased education. Give them the facts. That's it. Like we
But that
can't.
is a fact. You have to emotionally manipulate them.
I don't think that's necessary.
But they're already being emotionally manipulated by not being shown it.
Of course.
So you have to swing it the other way.
That's not how I see it.
So what kind of like lesson plan would you put out instead of that? Like
The
literally
facts, like
just
where does our food
a
come
cow
from?
turns into
We
a
have
burger.
factories. We have the cows. We inject them with crap, and then to make them grow faster, we actually impregnate them so that they can have a baby, so that we can get more milk. We take the baby away. Like just what happens?
All right, we'll save my lesson for like 6th grade. Then their brains are more developed, and we'll just make it harder. Be like, do you want to sell Billy for $50 or do you want to keep Billy alive? I think it'll work. I really do.
Okay, yeah, it'll work. I'm having trouble accepting it.
All right. We'll have 2 different classes. Mine will be an elective. It's not a forced class. That way it's
Yeah.
less manipulative then.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. How would, in your world, would you see the steps or the layout of eliminating animal products?
It'd have to be like a very slow transition.
Like for your world to get there, are you seeing it like we just let people make the choice forever? Do you see semi government restrictions like they are now with the electric vehicles, where they're like phasing out gas cars? How do you see it?
No, I don't see any like restrictions happening or anything like that. I mean, not the restrictions on like the people, the individuals, but like in how we produce food.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So stricter animal rights laws or
Animal
abuse
rights.
laws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that would be a great start.
I could see that. I could also see though, like you could even put the restriction on the company though, like cap how much they could produce of red meat or something. So I don't know, because I feel like there would have to be some sort of government involvement to get it there.
Yeah, but even if like there's like a cap on like a company, like you can only produce this much, the same company is going to branch out and create a second company, and then it'll be the same thing. There'll just be more of them. I think like animal rights is where it's at.
We could, because then you cap how they have to make it in terms of restrictions on the rights, and then it'll increase their costs, and then they'll decide if it's worth it to make that much.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing that has to happen is there has to be some kind of subsidy for vegan products.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because there's subsidies on meat and there's subsidies on dairy.
Yeah.
And so it has to be an even playing field for it to be worth it.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of people's big thing right now, is that it's like vegan alternatives, not the diet, but the alternatives are expensive.
Are pricey.
But I don't think people realize that the meat is subsidized, and that is part of the reason why the vegan ones look so expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that has to happen. Let's see.
How do you think like people's perception will change in the future?
How it'll change? I think we're already kind of starting to see it. Is that people are kind of waking up to like they're caring more, I guess. Because I don't think anyone ever really thought like the production of meat was some like fancy, like nice thing. But I think
people just didn't think about it. I don't think people thought about it.
And so that's why I think spreading the message is important. And I think though that has to be done in a non-judgmental way. Like I think PETA actually turns away a lot of people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I get where they come from, because that's like the angry vegan. That's like we need to stop. Like people let the emotions for the animals cloud how they're delivering the message. And so they're doing this stuff like spilling the fake blood all over the Starbucks or something. And it's like, that doesn't get people to listen to your message. It really doesn't.
But it does. Like I that's not how I go about things. However, it does get people to talk about it. It's some sort of...
But are they talking about it in a constructive way? Are they talking about like, wow, maybe they're right, we shouldn't do this? Or are they talking about like,
No,
wow,
they're
these
definitely
protesters
not.
are doing this in a dumb way?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely not in a positive way.
Right.
However, I think they're starting conversations that wouldn't otherwise be started.
I think for me though, I think PETA does it on purpose, to be honest.
I think so too. I think that is their strategy, to just like create chaos and have people
Like, have you ever been in PETA's comments?
No.
There's not people like PETA's doing an amazing job or anything. It's the same people and all the other ones like, bacon, or wow, this cheeseburger is good. Because I mean, they're posting dumb stuff like we shouldn't use 2 birds, 1 stone, or call people chickens because that's offensive to chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're spreading like a lot of messages that don't really matter in the overall movement. I think it's just interesting because they do a lot of good, but I just feel like a lot of their protests actually push people away. Because I think that's where the perception that vegans are judgy on people, I think that's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And so by them doing that, it makes us harder to get a message out because people think all vegans are like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the problem comes from.
I can see that. I think they're just bringing a different crowd of people that we wouldn't otherwise bring into the conversation, and I think that's good too.
Right. I just think they like bring people into conversation, but then put headphones in their ears at the same time. Like the people aren't listening because of the way they did it. But again, PETA does a lot of good. I'm not going to knock them over.
Right. They do. Yeah.
But then again, when I started this whole thing, I decided I was going to go like the completely opposite route of PETA. And so maybe that works. We have yin and yang.
Yeah.
All right. So you talked about setting more animal rights restrictions on the companies. What kind of restrictions do you see? Like, what do you envision in terms of placing animal rights laws in on them? Like, I mean, they just put the one where like the pigs have to have a certain amount of space, the chickens have to have their cages. What do you see for that?
Yeah, I think like living quality of life would be the beginning for me. What space they have, how many years they're working for, those that don't get slaughtered.
Okay.
Chickens and milk producing cows.
Do you see one like you can't slaughter them before age 5 or something? Like, do you see putting an age cap on it?
Age caps would be cool.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of the baby ones are the hard ones, like veal and stuff. So eliminating that is at least progress. Or you can say you could only milk them X amount a year, or get X amount of eggs from a chicken.
Yeah. And then like having some sort of like transition program, like from having them be, milking cows to like a sanctuary or something.
Okay. So dairy cows don't turn into slaughters.
Yeah.
Could see it. The easiest way to do that would be the sanctuaries having government funding.
Yeah.
Then they could buy them from the manufacturers.
Yeah.
It could definitely work. Yeah, I think setting how many of the animals they can have at one time would work too. Yeah. And especially breeding restrictions. So that the way they do it now is crazy. So
yeah,
like there has to be more in that manner. How do you see us getting outside of subsidies? Because we just kind of went over that. How do you see us getting the cost of vegan alternatives and vegan products down from here? Because I think that's a really important part of getting people to go, hey, I could do this.
More options. Right. There's just not a lot out there, so there's not a lot of competition. When we have more competition, then prices will come down.
I think as I said earlier, I think we need people like Tyson. Although they're kind of, we need like the big guys to get in, because what they have is they have the manufacturing facilities. And so when you're scaled up, it costs less per item. And so I don't think a lot of like Beyond does not have the money to scale up at this point. And so, as you said, more players definitely helps, creates a more competitive market. And then, as we mentioned before, I think subsidies do have to happen. Yeah. Because, I don't think we do as much in terms of alternatives, but I do think that they are a big role in transitioning people.
For a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, because It's like a stepping stone between steak and tofu. It's like
I think
right
we
there.
are seeing a shift in people who not even are interested in being vegan, but like are okay with eating more vegan stuff.
Yeah, they'll try the
Those are
products.
the kind of people that want to try the products,
Right.
like the Beyond Impossible Gardein, as opposed to like the first like vegans from like 10 years
Right.
ago, like us. We weren't interested in those products.
Well, they weren't even there really.
Of course.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But we didn't need that to transition, I
right.
guess.
I think the big
Now
one is
people are like, okay, like if I'm
right.
gonna have a burger that tastes like a normal burger that I've had in the past, then I can do it. As
Right.
opposed to like us, we had to let go of that burger or pizza or whatever.
I think overall the biggest one I've seen is almond milk. Like I think I've seen a lot of people switch from milk to almond milk compared to the other ones.
Almond milk took the world.
I mean, it's like big people. Like
Yeah.
I've seen Chris Brown, like that level of people
Yeah.
posting
Yeah.
drinking almond milk in their cereal instead of normal milk. And that wasn't even an endorsement.
Yeah.
So I like that move. It does help. It's a stepping stone. What about the medical and scientific communities? How do you see them having to adjust to it? I think a big involvement in that is
It's a big
testing.
one. Yeah.
But I think from what I've seen is a lot of them, like it's like mandated, the testing is.
It is, yeah.
And
so that's like a big one, and I don't know why it's mandated.
Right. I think that's an easy shift though, because I think the companies are completely on board with it. We just need the government to kind of step back a little bit. But then again, I don't know what you'd replace it with. For like
there's so many ways of testing.
For like cosmetics and stuff, but like what do you do about the ones trying to trial new drugs? Like early stage.
Yeah. I don't
Now, I'm totally against getting rid of animal testing, but I don't personally know what the replacement would be.
You're against getting rid of it?
No, I'm saying I'm not against. Like I totally want to get rid of it.
Right.
But I don't, like I see the hard spot because I don't know what you replace it with for medications testing.
Yeah.
Cosmetics, there's really no reason. But we'll let them figure that out. We're not the scientists, right?
I think we're there though. I feel like we are at a point where we don't need to do that.
Yeah. I am optimistic about that one. Since the companies, the companies are putting out statements saying that we've dropped animal testing down to the level that's like federally mandated. Like it's mandated. So I do see the progress there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. But do you see like the economy overall being able to keep thriving, or do you see it kind of plateauing for a little bit?
Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't keep thriving.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how the restrictions come in.
Yeah. I mean, as long as like if people right in this dream vegan world, everybody is vegan. Right. There's just gonna be so many more new products.
True. I think the question was more phrased as like on the way though. Like while we're going from our world to the dream world. But again, I still think if the restrictions are eased in, I think it would be just fine. Let's see. Now this is a big one that people always use against us, the food deserts. How, in your world, how do you solve that? Like how do you get food, affordable food everywhere on the planet? How do you see that happening?
Mass production, like we do now with non-vegan products.
Yeah. I mean, like, how do you get it to like the desert areas or like Iraq and stuff? You just see us becoming more of like a sharing world in terms of like, because I mean, a lot of places don't have the kind of money to pay for all of it, or don't live in an area that's able to grow it.
Well, hopefully, if in this vegan world we care enough about the animals, we care enough.
That's what I'm saying. So in your world, we are.
Yeah, we are sharing for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they go hand in hand, you know, like people think that we don't necessarily, like vegans don't care about humans.
Right.
And that's not the case.
Not at all.
At all. We care about all living beings. So in that dream vegan world, that includes people that have no food. Like we're going to be sharing.
For sure.
Yeah. We're not anti-human.
We're not?
I'm not. Darn. Sometimes.
It's not related to our veganism, though. Sometimes you're just against certain human beings.
Right. Yeah.
That's normal. It's kind of a hard one.
So, what kind of supports and resources do you believe would be necessary for individuals and communities to transition to vegan lifestyles?
I think it goes in with what we were just kind of talking. Like, we're gonna have to share. Like, there has to be more of like not the U.S. and like Europe have a bunch of food and access to food, and then other countries don't. It has to be spread. So I think in a dream world, I think it has to be more of a global economy rather than like the U.S.'s economy, China's economy. Like every country would have to care about the other countries, and they have to work together. That's the
Yeah.
only way to do it.
Yeah.
And not even just at that level. Like this has to go through. It's like if I live here and you live over here, like we'd even have to share if needed. So it's like it has to be community based all the way from like your neighbors all the way up to global. And I think that's what would have to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
And then moving on to kind of like the health and nutrition aspect, because there are a lot of people right now that are either malnourished or they're dying of not having food. How do you think your world would change that?
I think people would be healthier,
Of course.
Well, first we talked about like people sharing our food, right?
Of course.
At that point, hopefully everybody has access to food and we're not going to be eating a whole bunch of, in my ideal vegan world, it's not going to be processed foods.
Yeah, it'll
as
be
much.
more sustainable too.
So with that, you get healthier people.
Right? Healthier people will drop healthcare costs, which will allow us to dedicate more money to the animal rights and the sanctuaries and everything. And I think that's how we make up a lot of the costs for our vegan utopia.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. Then, well, as always, who's judging? Not me.